What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Guys, want to say what up?
Hey, y'all.
All right. I think Dame tried to say hello, but he's on mute.
Hey, I got to go for a second. I'm Dame. Family just called me for some reason, and I'll be back.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining the show. Make sure you guys get over to our website, gftradioshow.com, for all of your for all of our links, all of our socials, our replays, all the things, all the ways you can keep up with us. Make sure you join the conversation group, GFT. Join the conversation over at facebook.com/groups. That's GFT Join the Conversation, where all types of conversations, topics, and discussions are happening. Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Get over to our gftradio.creator-spring.com site, where you can get apparel and accessories and all kinds of cool tokens with GFT Radio Show logos and apparel. What's that, Sonny?
My Taurus mug, because it's my season.
Oh, so Lord. It's all right. I guess it's all right.
I got that for one of my birthdays, so people love me.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
So I feel important sometimes.
So since we're gonna be having random topics, I'm gonna base a topic just on that, because I do have a question about that.
And what was it? What I miss?
Oh, just talking about our apparel and accessory shopping, and Sunny was showing her mug that she got for her birthday. So
wait, I didn't know you was a Taurus. I love you, Sonny. You my favorite host.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to read the writing. Let me go get my glasses. I can't see.
Sorry, folks.
I have that effect on people.
No, Dame's acting senile. Sonny's acting senile. So
I'm acting myself.
We're gonna go ahead and get started.
No, I legit. I was trying to read something today. Somebody sent me a flyer, and my best friend was acting like, "Yeah, it's so and so." She said, "You don't see your name at the bottom of the thing?" I said, "Girl, I barely read that. All I seen was like July 2nd. Nikki said July 2nd.
No, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about getting older. I've always had really great eyesight, even regardless of my condition. I have beyond 20/20 vision. Like, I forgot what they call it. So basically, like, I can see forever.
Eagle eye.
And but even with the fact that I can still see really clear, really far, and very close just fine, I still struggle with certain things now that I've gotten older, with really small type, especially when it's on top of
that's why
non-contrasting background.
Have a love-hate relationship. I call my one coworker, who I affectionately call Snickerdoodle. I also call her Big Font Lisa, because when you look at her phone, her font is like extremely big. But then I had to make my font bigger so I could see it, but not as big as hers. Like hers, you can read. You ain't even gonna try to read. You just see her font. Now I had to up my font, and like it's certain things that I really can't see. Like I can see the TV, like my big screen, like away from me right now. I can see that crystal clear. That's not a problem. It's the stuff close up that I have a problem with.
Yeah. I've never worn glasses, never had anything. So yeah, I'm like, now I've gotten into. I literally, for the last like year and a half, I have the shortcut to the magnifier on my phone so that I can read labels and little small bottles and all that kind of stuff. I was looking at something like this little bottle right here, like this little tiny text. Like I used to be able to read this kind of stuff, no problem. Like now, I gotta have that magnifying glass out. It's crazy.
No, I look cute with my glasses though, but I just don't like wearing them.
Yeah. Now I know people who they need to wear glasses for one thing, take glasses off for something else.
I can't do it when I'm watching TV. Like when I'm working from home, watching TV. So being on my laptop, if I'm not at my desk where I got the big monitors, right, I have to put my glasses on when I'm on my laptop. Like that's what I'm on right now. If I was sitting at my computer, I would have you guys on my computer screen, which is bigger than this screen, so I will be fine. But because I'm not doing that, that's why I need my glasses. Now, like the TV and stuff, I can read. Like I was reading something that was further away from me. I'm perfectly fine. It's just this computer stuff and my phone. I can see so much better when I put my glasses on because I'll be sitting there struggling. Yeah, getting old is definitely hard. I'll be 42 on Sunday, so yeah.
40. Oh yeah. I remember those good old days. Actually, the funny thing is, when I was like somewhere between 39 and I believe 43, I had worse issues with my back and my side, or my not my side, my thighs and my legs, where I just had pain constantly, issues constantly. I used to get really bad cramps in my legs all the time. I still kind of get those now, but not as bad. And it was just the worst time ever. I used to just dread to get up, all that kind of stuff. And it was hard. I was like, this is crazy. How's my body breaking down this early in life?
Yeah, it's like once I turned 40, everything went to hell. Like my eyes got worse. Yeah, I'll be 42. Yeah, so 40. My eyes got worse. I had to have surgery because I had carpal and I had a lump on my wrist. So my dominant hand, I had to have surgery on both hands and my shoulder. But I delayed the shoulder and my other hand because my dominant hand was harder. I mean, it was a while being out and not being able to do crap. But I had to get surgery, and then everybody knows my iron low. Everybody knows I was an avid ice chomper. I had ice. I used to get bags of ice for my birthday, and then I had to get the iron injections. The iron injections are crazy, and the dose that I had to get so many doses in a certain amount of time. That when you get iron injections, your iron lacks and your body lacks iron. I had iron deficiency since I was a kid. Once I hit puberty, my iron was just the lowest of lows. So I always had problems with that. But when I had to get surgery, they had to do the iron injections too. So the iron injections is infusing all this iron inside your body, where your body is having what's similar to an allergic reaction, but it's your whole body. So it literally feels like somebody grabbed you, held you tight, and then threw you down. You hit every step going down. That's how it felt like, and that's the best way I can describe the iron injections. Like after you get it, they give you. Sometimes they give you Benadryl after because it's like your body is having an allergic reaction. It's not. That's what it feels like. So your body is like so sore to the touch. It's like, oh my God, it feels like everything, like thinking hurts. Everything hurts. So like that part, I went downhill. But like I do have to. I've been delaying. I need to get surgery this one because I wake up every day. This one is numb or tingling, and then my shoulder. So it's like once they do this one, they're gonna have to do my shoulder. So it's like.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, it's hard getting those surgeries when like you said, you rely on these body parts to work or to function and things like that. I know a lot of people who either delay or just avoid them. I mean, I was supposed to have surgery on my shoulders years ago, but because there was no positive prognosis where I would definitely get better. It was like do it to see if it would stop pain, and that was it. I just was like, nah, that's okay. And I ended up just doing a bunch of different physical therapies and exercises to help it. And it's been fine since then.
Yeah.
So
even when I had surgery on my hand, I still can't, I can't braid like how I used to. Like I've braiding since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I can't braid. Like I can still braid, but it's not going to be tight braids. It's nothing that's going to last. It's going to be last like a day maybe. And it's not really going to last. A lot of stuff that I my daughter watches me struggle opening up twist off caps, alcohol.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember you talked about that.
It's real. Like she look at me like, "Mom, you over there really having a hard time?" Like just open it for me. You see me over here struggling. Like,
you had any issues in your old age, Dame? That's caught you by surprise.
Surprise ain't the word. Once I hit my 30s. The floodgates opened up. It's like every injury I ever had growing up, because I was a big basketball player growing up. No matter which court I went to, I don't know. I would had to go hoop. Ankles start bothering me out of nowhere. Just recently, I had to go to physical. I'm going through physical therapy now for my knee. Didn't have any injuries on my knees.
Right.
In particular, my left knee. I'm in physical therapy for that because one day it was like slightly discomfort, pain when I do certain things with my knee at work. It just start hurting. But one day it got to the point where I'm start limping, so I had to call my doctor. Came in, told her about my knee. She got me a therapist to go see a specialist about my knee. And it was funny because I'm limping. I'm limping at work, home. I put my leg up to try to relax the knee, rest it, certain positions for too long, and the knee start to hurt. And the day before I went to go see this woman about my knee, it just excruciating pain, like out of nowhere. I put a heating pad on it. I'm taking Excedrin medicine for pain or whatever. So what happens when the day I have to go see her? The pain went away.
Oh man.
I'm not limping no more, but she knows, like, yeah, I could tell something's wrong. You might have tendonitis in my knee or whatever. So now tomorrow and Thursday I had to go to physical therapy before I go to work.
Yeah.
So that's no fun.
Yeah, nah. I just hate that it comes up, out of nowhere, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you just never
out of nowhere.
You never had an injury, never had issues, and all of a sudden, bam, it's just
Like, why am I limping? Like why am I limping? Why am I in pain? Like I can't do my job.
Yeah.
So going back to Sunny's thing about being a tourist this month and her celebrate, we know Sunny loved to celebrate a birthday. We know she liked to turn.
It's not like she talks about it.
Month start to month end. You know how
I haven't even planned. Like I'm debating on having a game night, but I don't know if I want black folk in my house.
Oh, then she becoming a crabby old woman now.
No, it's not that. It's just because at the same time, like I know, like the way I do things, Willie, I like to be prepped the way I need to be prepped. I'm not that way. Like this will be completely last minute and just it's like, can you bring this? Can you bring that? I like to have certain things already. Like if I'm having the function, have like the basics and you just show up in BYOB and we about to be lit. Yeah, it'll be super like it'll be like so like all right, well, who can bring this? I ain't feeding you folk. At least I had food last time. Like we, it was stuff all situated. I don't got none of that right now.
Oh yeah. No, that's definitely. I mean, when you're the type of party or host rather, the type of host that you're like, I gotta have everything the way I want it to be. That becomes important. That's true. So the question I had based on that was like, I should have reworded this. Are all birthdays every year, are they, and including parties or celebrations and things like that, are they really important to you? Or do you just look at milestones? Or do you just feel like one day you'll wake up and be like, this will not be a year I'd celebrate like crazy? Like what's your take, and how do you think people feel about, their birthdays on a year-to-year basis?
Okay, so I guess I'll go first since James not right here. For me, it's I like celebrating my birthday, but like me celebrating my birthday can be like, I'm not like a big to-do situation. Like there's no big to-do. If anybody knows me, I'm more of a let's come to my house. Willie knows, come to my house. We're going to be partying here. So it's less expensive to go out. Although I do like to, like last year I went out, but that's the only thing I did. Like I went out on my actual birthday. Like I'm very much that person that is okay with doing one thing for my birthday. I don't need everybody doing something for my birthday, right? I'm like, let's all do this one thing for my birthday. And I just want it to be like, my thing is your present. So last year, this guy that always has parties every year, never has a party for my birthday or a tourist season, let alone. Last year, he had it on my birthday. 90s party at that. Okay, so me, it's my birthday. It's on my birthday. I got to pull up. I already had the sitter. I was outside. I had a babysitter that whole weekend, but that was the day that I wanted to do something. Not every day leading up to it. That was the day. And we had a good time. Like I had all my friends come. Everybody knows I'm letting you know now, if you my friend, I'm not sitting here with you talking to you. I'm on the dance floor. So most of the pictures anybody got of me, I was on the dance floor or in the middle of coming back, grabbing a drink, and then going back to the dance floor type of thing. So if I'm outside, I'm on somebody's dance floor. If I'm in the house, we're vibing, playing.
If she's in the house, Sunny's on the dance floor. Believe me.
I'm on the dance floor, but
or on the counter, or on top of the stove. I promise you. It's how it goes
or I
down.
may be on the floor, passed out,
Right.
inebriated. If anybody,
or she have one of her guests take her upstairs and she comes right back downstairs.
Right.
Oh, no.
Because she said the party don't stop yet.
Yeah, it's been times. No, it's been times. And if anybody been a part of my game nights, my game nights can go not outside of my birthday. My birthday, I was drunk before most people got there. But for like my game nights, it's gonna be epic. Like my game nights always like the legend. One of my friends posted a game night for my sister's birthday I threw here, and we had an argument about spades. It was like a big thing. It was like they posted it. It's like you need to have one for your birthday. That's why I was contemplating doing like at least a spades night, not necessarily a game night, but let's come play spades and chill out type of vibe. We'll see. It's still up for debate, but like I feel like I don't have to do everything all the time because I know people that party. Like I celebrate my birthday the whole month, but not necessarily celebrate it like party. Like once tourist season kicked off, I'm with all the tourist fuckery. So if there's a party of my friends, I have a couple of tourist friends, so I'm going out. I'm trying to go out for their birthday, celebrate them. Like I had one that kicks off the tourist season. You've seen, I went recently. We had a party bus. We went out to a nice restaurant. We went back to the friend's house, and then everybody was home by 11. Like,
hey, you gotta love those kind of parties.
Yeah, but like that was our thing because it was like a brunch situation. But like I'm like that.
Oh yeah, I love a good day party or a brunch. Just like
and I like just getting, even though it stresses me out to get dressed up. I like that too. But like not every year. I'm big years. I'm definitely trying to go outside. The other years I can go outside, but it's not like it's no big deal. I'm not expecting cake, ice cream, balloons, and and then on top of that, I'm not even a big gift person. You don't have to give me a gift. If you give me a gift, it's super dope, but it's not required. My thing is if I'm doing something, I want you to be there. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way where my every year thing has never been doing something every year has never been a thing for me. I've definitely had some milestone years that I've done. Like I've done a bigger to do about something. I think it was when I turned 45. I did something every week. It was like either 4 weeks in a row or 3 weeks, and then I skipped a week and then we did another week. So it was just like back to back to back,
Yeah.
So it was, it did, and I've done that. I think at least twice in the last like 10 or 15 years, where I've done a series of events and outings and things like that. I mean, even with that one, I did one of the things I did at home. Or it might have been two actually. So the biggest thing though is like, the every year thing has never been that important to me. I actually grew up like not really having birthday parties and stuff like that. I think I might have had 2, maybe 3 growing up. And then there was a long time where I didn't celebrate at all. Just kind of basically was just like, not a big deal, nothing I really needed to do anything. And then I think it was when I turned either 25 or 33, I was like, oh, I want to, turn up, and so then that's when I kind of got into the milestones, doing something for the milestones. And but yeah, I know some people who, they don't have to do something every day of the week or every weekend of the month or whatever, or they might just do one little thing, for the in-betweens, and then they might do one big thing for a milestone, like that kind of thing. But it's always interesting to me, how important that kind of stuff is to people. But you brought up a good point.
Take trips every year and go away every year, like do it big. And I'm like, one year I do want. I'll go on a quick trip. No, but 1 year I do want, because I haven't stamped my passport. One of these years, if I'm pretty sure I'll stamp my passport before then. But one of these years, I want to do like a trip that not everybody, like I've been saying this. I wanted to do it for my 40th, but I didn't do it because, all this COVID, a bunch of stuff was going on. It was a lot. Not that it was like shortly after COVID, but I want to do a trip to like Amsterdam. I want to do that type of thing, like go to Amsterdam, like go out, see different sceneries, go to like all in those types of areas, type of thing. Like Ireland is all that in one.
Okay, yeah.
Like to go do the train thing and go around, like something different, because everybody goes to Jamaica, everybody goes to these same places. Right. I just want to do something completely,
Jamaica, Cozumel, all those kind of stuff.
Yeah, I want to do something completely outside of the box and do something like that, where it's like more of a cultural kind of
Right.
tour where you're getting to see the very difference. Like
yeah, Ireland is actually on my list
because I want to go see. I want to go to Amsterdam because I want to go see the Anne Frank Museum.
Oh, okay.
I want to do Ireland because I want to see like the old castles and stuff
me
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
The just the scenery of itself, like the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
I like that type of stuff. So like that's something very out the box that I would like to do.
Yeah.
Of course, I would like to do Paris. I'm not necessarily for the food, but just for the scenery and different things like that.
Right. It's so funny. I don't know if it was last year or the year before last, when I first heard people saying like really much down in Paris, like, oh, this ain't what everybody says it's cracked up to be. It's nasty here. It's dirty here. I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Like the Paris slander was huge in the last couple of years. I was like, that's crazy.
I just want to go for like the scenery and stuff like that.
Like, yeah, I mean, I still kind of want to. Well, actually, I do want to delay it until they figure out this bed bug situation, but they do actually have bed bugs there. I guess they have a huge infestation. I don't know if it might be passed by now, and it might be misinformation at this point, but it was credible information. At the end of the pandemic, through at least like last year, people kept saying that it's still a bit of a problem there. But there's a lot of places, I guess, that are supposed to be like that, and people still go and don't care. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, to those people that do their birthdays big up, cool. It ain't for everybody, but I also think it's a lot to require for people to just be doing it. Like, I want to get to the point where I have done it, so I can't say that I want to get to the point because I've taken trips solo, but like I've gone to go see people. Like I knew people that lived somewhere else. I hopped the flight and then I was like, "What we doing?" And it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take." Like 1 year I went to Atlanta. The first time I went to Atlanta, I went solo and I went with one of my good friends was out there and he was like, hop a flight, we're gonna take you out. I done went to strip clubs with them, went to the mall, and it was crazy because that Mother's Day weekend I had gotten into a bad car accident and had a black eye. So I'm in Atlanta with a black eye, yellow as I am, out in these streets with these men hopping, going to clubs with a black eye. Like, this is my birthday. I'm so excited.
Right,
I had a ball. I got my first tattoo out there.
Oh,
but like,
dang,
I was in the strip clubs, but like, you know, I'm a tomboy, so like I hung out with them. We was in strip club. I was playing Shy Sister, trying to hook them up with people. Like it was lit. Like I even got to live the part of life where, you know, they do. Well, they have it sometimes in Philly too. Like when we used to go to clubs, they be outside the parking lot and stuff. Like they do it now in Jersey too. Sometimes when people don't go in the club, they just outside parking lot pimping and like that. It's like a turn up outside a little bit. Not Atlanta more so than here. It's it's a whole different vibe out there. I experienced that too. Like, but like it was funny going to their clubs.
We do that here in the city too, or in Detroit too.
Yeah, but it was like so different for me because they're playing music that like for me at that time was older music, like the old school hip hop. I mean, we listen to it now, of course, but it was just like at the time, you know, this is when all the new music coming out, like Nelly, everybody was out in this and third. Now I'm down in Atlanta and we hearing like Biggie Smalls, old Biggie, like all this stuff. So, but it was a vibe. Like I had fun. The strip clubs was fun. Me and strip clubs, I swear to God, every time I get in the strip club, it's always one female that just be on my ass. I have yet to go to a strip club, knock on wood. I would like to go to a strip club where I could just relax and have fun and I ain't order like somebody trying to get me. I mean, but it's cute because it's cool for me because I get free drinks.
Right,
so
exactly.
It'd be great, but like, you know, whatever. But like,
that sounds like first world problems.
No, but like, that's because at that time, like most of them I went to strip club, but outside of the ones I found when I went with my best friends, it was with guys. So they're like, oh, she coming in, she the only girl, and I didn't dress like, well, I did. I was girly, but not like girly how I would be with my girls.
Right, exactly.
I was girly with a bunch of dudes, so like it was like real dress down, chill out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean that's how the clubs always are.
I want to talk to her, and I'm like,
exactly, yeah.
So, but like I had fun, but like I think, you know, birthdays are up to the people. Some people celebrate their birthday. Like I feel like for me, I've been through a lot in my life. I done almost died like 3 times in my life. So me celebrating birthday every year is like I'm still here. I don't know. But at the same time, I still don't celebrate it every. Yeah. I mean, I do celebrate it every year, but not like big. I ain't gonna blow it up like that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right, let's get on to the next topic. Looks like Dame is indisposed right at the moment.
Yeah.
I was watching this video, and this guy was saying, don't. How did he put it? He said, be careful asking your grandparents how they met and asking them, what their love story is. And
I heard this one.
he was describing this a courtship situation where he felt like it was the most unexpected, it took a most unexpected turn, and he kind of learned that there's a big difference between what we find acceptable now versus what people found acceptable or even allowed back in the day. And so I wanted to ask the question, based on that, or a little bit you understand what old school courtship like, being extra persistent and men wanting a woman to be, a stay-at-home mom and things like that, and all the things that went with the traditions of old school courtship. Do you think that stuff would be acceptable today?
It can be. It can be if you let it. If the two people are willing to let that happen. There's certain laws in place now that you can't have it totally the normal courtship, because there's something called statutory rape. Because most of these people,
he was talking about his grandfather being what, 16 or 17, and his grandmother.
No, his grandfather being 20 some. I think it was a 20 something, but he was over the adult age limit. But his grandmother was just a preteen.
I think he was like 18 or 19, but the grandmother
to
was
12. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So so I'm just like cringe moment. But you got to remember, that's how they did things back in the day. There was no age law for a certain time period for a lot of people. The government made it legal because a lot of people was like, I think that's too young for people to be getting married. Back then, it was all fair game, living on the farm, raising cattle, raising kids.
Even with the kings and the queens.
Right. Oh, right. So it's like, because it was normal back then. But since they made laws, now it's cringeworthy. It's almost like the whole thing about
it was cringeworthy back then, but it was acceptable.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Was it really cringeworthy?
It was, because you marrying this, but but see, that's when the time it was the procreation situation. It was basically you marry some 40-year-old man at age 12 because you're at the age where you pass your menstrual cycle and you could produce babies. So it was more about, like, especially with
the color purple,
it was produced in the air, and then that became the status quo for a lot of people. You're more able to have more that childbearing age once you become a woman. Rather, you were at the point where you can have children and you would live to be able to attempt to try or be more successful having a child younger. So this is why, like I said, it was acceptable, but it was cringeworthy because you got these little kids being married off to these men, and they essentially waiting for them to pass their menstrual cycle to be able to say, all right, now we can start having kids.
And some of it was arranged marriage too.
They were a woman, right? Is that they were paying at that point, and like you said, it was. I think, but from a cringeworthy kind of point of view, the scary part is I don't think it was cringe back then because it was the status quo. It was
that's why I said it was the norm.
And what was the norm, right? And they didn't see it as cringy; they saw it as the way of life. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm sure there were probably some outliers, some people who probably did find it like this is not really what I would want, or this isn't, for me, but I know just looking at some of the tribes that still do it to this day. And then, like you said, we got recent history that shows us that this was still a thing and still acceptable practice up until 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And don't forget the arranged marriages as well. So the
Yeah.
parents were actually okay with this, especially if it favored both sides of the family. Like, say the girl's family was poor, the guy's family was rich, arranged marriage. They helped the poor family out by giving them whatever kind of trade they had in store
Yeah.
for the family.
And
So
and
it
you know
was a
what?
lot.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Damon.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's the thing. I think we romanticize a lot of it too, because like you guys was mentioning royalty and rich person, poor person. A lot of this was happening with just people all in the same caste system, all in the same levels.
Yeah.
The same poor people and poor people. You just ain't as poor as us. You got a cow. We don't got a cow. All right, I'll sell you my daughter for a cow.
Yeah. Or
Our
just to
two
have a
families
name.
are both suffering, but if we put our resources together, we can get ahead. Oh, let's marry our kids together. Like your kid and then this older uncle or whatever, we're gonna get them together. And that was like a way to kind
Eh,
of bridge a gap, a financial gap that was affecting both families at the time, because
Yeah.
one family might have needed,
eh,
like you said, a workforce. It wasn't even about heirs; it was about a workforce. And then you had
Yeah.
another
Being
family
stable.
that was missing
eh,
essential goods and needs, and that other family just happened to so have that one or two things and be able to provide them that in exchange to marry this, these two people together to create this
Yeah.
prime opportunity. So, and then I think, the
uh,
romanticism that we even do with the 50s and 60s, right? We talk about, we see people talk about that all the time, like, oh, the good old days. Oh, when courting was great, when courting was this and courting was that. And like Dane said, you still back then had still, grown men pursuing or even grooming young girls because that was the way to do it. That was
eh,
acceptable. Go
oh,
ahead.
then the romanticize of the whole courtship deal. Like, oh, when did y'all get married? Oh, y'all was been together since young love. No, she was young, not him, or vice versa. Depends on you. It wasn't really brought out like if a lot of older women marry a lot of younger men in the same situation. Usually, it was just older men.
Yeah, but even when you get in the same age, because courting wasn't just about older and younger; it was from the same age. And I feel like to Dane's point, I agree. Like, it depends on the people. You have men and women that want that traditional household where the man is the sole person, the provider, and everything, provider in every sense of the title, and then some, and the woman is staying at home, taking care of the kids, and making sure the house is kept up. That may
But
work for
I'm
some
sorry.
people, but as far as now, not necessarily. I think so much has changed now where you have women who can be considered the head of the household by financial state alone, right?
Right.
And so that kind of courtship wouldn't necessarily work because you have men who feel like they're not equally yoked because they're not making that financial part, right?
Right.
It could be a lot of things. Or like in this stage, you got women that own houses. So what you about to bring me? You can't buy me a house. I got one. So you got to come here, type of thing. So it's completely different now than it is before. But like, yeah, you still have people that do have that want that lifestyle, want that courtship, stuff like that, and want those traditional, what's considered traditional kind of courtship vibes to happen. And if it works for you, it works for you. That I don't think it would. It's not even about being acceptable as far. Oh, the only thing that will be acceptable is age, right? But other than that, the courtship in and of itself doesn't necessarily have to be acceptable. It has to be acceptable to those people. It doesn't matter if it was today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from there, 20 years from now. If they understand what courtship was back in the days of what courtship was back then, because it's not even, courtship is not considered dating. Courtship is, I like this person. This is my person. I'm not mingling with all these people. I'm just mingling with this one person because that's who I see this person. That's who I want. It's not like to dating how it is now where I can date this person, this person, and that one. Courtship didn't even involve sex. Sex was not even the equation. You was holding hands, skipping barely because you couldn't really do certain things because it was frowned upon. It was being too friendly.
Don't forget the chaperone.
I don't know.
Having a chaperone.
I want to call romanticism again because I know too many aunts, uncles, great aunts, great uncles,
that was doing
cousins, this, that, and the third that got here somehow with that sex still being involved in no marriage. So
yeah, but that's yes, but I'm talking about the traditional sense of courting, like talking like
I get you.
Old
I still feel like
they
downplayed teenage pregnancy, unwed, out of wedlock. They downplayed it so tough that wasn't it wasn't that it was non-existent. It just wasn't televised. It just wasn't propagated out there. And then we know so many families where somebody gets pregnant and that baby gets shipped away to another family member to take care of, or or she goes off to the farm and then she comes back
without a baby.
Yeah. So
or the classic how old is the kid? Like they lied about the kid's birthday. It's a few months.
Or your mom raising your child like your brother or sister.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Definitely.
I seen jumping the broom, Sonny.
Yeah. So a lot of that, it ain't even is that. I watched a couple shows. Even when I watched one of these other shows on Netflix, I can't think of the name right now. The illegal abortions.
Oh yeah.
Was at an all-time high. So I said, to get back to the topic about courtship, I think it would be acceptable for those in this current time that are okay with that, but it's gonna be. I think it will be like a rare situation for certain. It's gonna be like probably a 1% people that would actually do the old school courting.
But it's going to be kind of hard if you want that type of marriage for the traditional wife staying at home and the husband go out and make all the money, because the way the economy is working today, I'm not going to say why, it takes a two income household at this point. And for some people, if you don't have a profession or certain trades or you're not hustling, it takes two people to make that household run just on a financial basis. Not talking about the morals or others. Yeah, because Willie, on his marriage, he raising the kids and family. It took him and his wife. Yeah, but him and his wife, they make the best money. Willie on his yacht, every other weekend taking time off. No. I'm sorry.
You must have talked about a different Willie. He's not my man. My name is Will, and I just be chilling.
Chill Will.
His wife was a professional at her job. Will, he's a professional at his job, but it took two people to make the household work, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, but even in this economy, I feel like everybody's struggling, no matter where you at financially. Everybody's struggling because everything is high. It's not nothing that's
not unless you're a politician.
Everything is high, and everybody's struggling. So even if you had a two household, depend like bills are billing, life is life, and so even if you got your incomes, and it's crazy because I could say, I talked to different people that I know people that make 6 figures. I know people that make 5 figures, and whatever, and going beyond. We all struggling. We all need help in some point of our life, and maintaining life and household and balancing everything else. We need help. So even with this economy now, it will be a struggle trying to be a courtship, but not unless even that man was making 6 figures. I think you still will have some type of struggle in maintaining it. And who wants to sit there? Like me personally, I could never be a stay-at-home wife. I can't sit on my laurels and knowing bills got to be paid. I want to be comfortable. I don't want, and I remember with movies say, what happens if that man gets sick and you just sitting home doing absolutely nothing? You ain't worked in 20 some odd years. Coming from an HR and working in the workforce development kind of vibe situation, we know that when the pandemic hit, you had people that had jobs for years that are now unemployed and got to find new careers. So you had this degree in such and such, and now you starting from the bottom at an entry level position and working your way up to where you was probably making 6 figures, and now you're not even close to that. So I just feel like it sounds great to just be able to sit at home and I admire anybody that can do that. I know for me, there's even if my husband was, even if whoever I married or was dating or whatever was making six figures, I think I would still work because I want us to be comfortable and have the savings, not solely dependent on you. And God forbid you get sick or I get sick, we got 401ks, pensions for early, if we have to early retire, like we have money that we have saved up that we both put into that can make sure we're maintaining, so that way if one of us fall, we still gonna make it and we not devastated and having to downsize. I mean, if we have to downsize, we're not downsizing to the extreme of going from a 4 or 5 bedroom mansion, not that I had that, and then going down to a one room with us and 3 kids. Like it's just not
right. Well, yeah,
mathing.
And that's the thing, you know, like you said, and I think Damon brought that up too. Is like, you know, I think that's the big thing is that I think that everybody has their needs and their requirements, right? You know, there's some people who want to be in what we call a traditional marriage or a traditional relationship where the man works and the woman stays at home, takes care of the home. Some people want to be able to work, you know, both parties, you know, have their careers. Some people want, you know, to be in a traditional but can't afford it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's everybody in between, right? You know, so I definitely think that whatever works for you in that regard, you know, from a old school courtship way, because I was watching something and the woman was saying how she just wouldn't accept a man unless he could take care of the bills and take care of the of the financial needs of the home, and that she would be at home and this that and the third. And she even said it. She came out. She was like I feel like feminism ruined things for us because now we have to go work. And I was like, that's there's a lot of people out there that feel that way. I don't think that it's feminism, of course. I think that it's the way of life,
played a
right?
part.
The fact that everything that we have in terms of, like you said, Sonny, the bills, the expenses, the wants, the desires, all these things sometimes just don't line up to a one income household. It just doesn't,
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a position where you're not able to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year by one person. So, that was the thing. It was like somebody was talking about like all the new levels of being poor, lower middle class, upper middle class, all this kind of stuff. And it was crazy because what they were showing for middle class, I was definitely looking at it, and a lot of people in the comments were saying like, how is that middle class? Like $80,000 or $70,000, whatever it said. They were like, yeah, ain't no way you living off of $70,000 in a 4-person home. It's just not happening. 30, 40 years ago, yeah, that would have been fine. Some people would have been just happy, would have been more than happy to have $80,000, $85,000 coming in and taking care of 4 people. Nowadays, you just barely scraping by with 2 people on that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's just the state of this economy, the state of this world that, it's just not conducive for a lot of people to be one income households and trying to be traditional when you can't afford it. But there's definitely people out there that want it. There's definitely people out there that have that desire, men and women. There's some men. That was the funny thing to me when I was coming up and when I first started dating, and I was seeing certain guys do things a certain way. There were so many guys around me that were like, girl, I'll take care of you. I'm going to be the one to, you could be at home looking pretty, taking care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. They wanted that as men because they felt like that's what a man's job was to do. Nowadays, there's big debates about it. There's huge discourse about it. There's some men, even at my age or older, that are like, oh, I'm not going to sit here and take care of a woman, blah, blah, blah. And there's some women out there that are like, we don't want you to take care of us, that kind of thing. So it's like, it's almost a flip. I think it's still that type of courtship or that type of dating, that intention of getting into a relationship like that is still viable today. I just think that it's definitely taken a turn in terms of how many people really want that nowadays.
Yeah. I think it's a little different too because I want to say it started during the war. That's when things took the turn for women going out in the workforce because why? Most of the men during the First World War and the Second, when they would go off to overseas, who was taking care of the factories? The women.
Mm-hmm.
That's when a shift actually happened, because women had to take care of stuff.
But they had to go to work because all the men was at war. Most of them.
Right. No. That's what I'm saying. That's when all the stuff started taking place. As far as then, you saw more women in the workforce. It was actually male secretaries out there. Women were actually traditionally at home. There were a few women working outside of home.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably retail stores or retail shops. Now you see today, women are everywhere, in every facets of part of the workforce industry. HR everywhere, secretaries. It started off with men being secretaries, but it was not very it's not talked about as much. It's like that's when the war started. That's when women entered the workforce. Then when men came back, there were less jobs for men and women, so they had to start. That's how the evolution started. That's, at least that's my thought and theory on it.
Yeah, because the men were off the war, the women were doing the stuff that they were doing, like even women joining the military, like back the day when we, even if they weren't seeing combat, they were a part of the military in some form or fashion doing something.
Right.
So it's like, and I just watched a clip today about because we get this, it was 2 clips actually. And one stemmed from the other, and then the guy was talking about the 50-50, and he was like, I can't entertain conversations of 50-50. He said, I'm a person that takes care of my household. My wife stays at home and takes care of the kids. My kids ain't never been in daycare and like that. So when men start having a conversation about what women bring to the table or 50-50, I can't participate in that, because that's not something I subscribe to. My household is what works for me. Me and her made a conversation. This is how our household is going to work. And we had an understanding. This is how we've been with each other for years. So when people want to entertain the conversation, the 50-50, what are women doing this, that, and the third, or just what they bring to the table. He said, my kids never been in daycare. Some of y'all men that want that 50-50, your kids are in daycare, not being raised by their mom, not being rooted in themselves, but being rooted in what they're learning in these institutions that you're not there to teach them. He said, so they, he was just like, those types of conversations about what women bring to the table and acting like women, like, just, he was talking about like making sure that they're 50-50. Like, some people take 50-50 so serious, like this is the bills 50 type of situation. Some people take it as like the one man was arguing about what can you do for me as a woman for me other than have sex with me? And he was explaining like, oh, she was like, I cook clean, I can get a maid for that. He said, meal prep, I got a subscription. So you saved me $600. What else can you bring me? And no matter what this woman was saying, he was like, well, I can pay for that. He said, but you can't pay for me to take care of you or buy you a house. She said, but what if I come with a house? Like, so, but the guy was basically saying like, this is the rhetoric I can't follow, because this is what my household. And he said, that's what we got to get out of the rhetoric of this, that, and the third, what's acceptable. Like, because some people may feel like old school courtship is acceptable, period, right? And they may think that, and they go on social media and say this, and this, and breathe that rhetoric to that way. Most men, or some men that don't have their own original thoughts, think that that's the way of life. That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the olden days. Like we in 2025. It's very, very different. So it's a lot more stuff that women can do and participating in, and it just has me. It had me thinking about it, because I'm like, well, we always see the debates of 50-50 always on social media. We always see the debates of what women bring to the table, not acknowledging like making the house a home, miscellaneous stuff that we do. It's just like, why are we so hung up? Now, I guess that's my question. Why are we so hung up on the only thing she could bring is sex? Well, why?
Yeah, and that becomes the question of what your intent is, because my thing is, if you think that all a woman brings to the table is sex, that's your intent. That says more about you as a man than it does about that woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, there's some women out there that do lead with sex, and they do lead with that, with the outside appearance and all the things as their selling point. But I think that there's way more men out here that are proliferating that by thinking that this is all a woman is good for. This is all, or that they have to pay to play and that kind of thing. And it's like you said, Sonny, there's so much more that a woman can bring to you as a man if you know what your proper intent is and what you know what your what the purpose of this family unit is for. You know what I'm saying? Me, I definitely don't do that whole 50-50 talk and all that. What me and my wife decide is how bills are going to get paid. It's how bills are going to get paid. I take care of what I want to take care of, how I want to take care of it, and she lets me. So but I think
she lets me.
but I think that but it's more about the conversations about how do we, like you were saying, Sonny, how do you invest? How do you save? How do you look for ways to improve your financial situation? These are conversations her and I have together. Yeah, I can make certain decisions. I can be a leader of whatever, but I also need her to consult her and talk to her and make sure that I'm understanding, what this family needs and, what our end goals are going to be based on what I want, what she wants, and what we can do together. Yeah. I don't think that she's only good for one thing. I know my wife is good for a plethora of things. She brings me peace, she brings me comfort, she brings me the life and the energy that I need to keep going. There's way more that's involved in that than just and she would say the same, that I'm not just a wallet, or I'm not just a big guy that can protect her in the street. There's other things that I'm good for. So and I think that's the thing, is that our intent in these relationships is what actually needs to be discussed and needs to be figured out, because a lot of these people, they don't even know what the intent is supposed to be. They don't know what their guide, or where they're going. They don't know what their end game is. They just try to get into the next person's pants or the next person's wallet. That's all they care about. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about being a family, raising an empire, or doing whatever they feel like is what's necessary to progress together. They're not thinking about that.
Yeah, because that I was just it's just one of those things where I feel like it's almost the lack of value for a woman, like especially and I find it problematic when I feel like people are raised by their moms, whether it was a single mom or a mom in the household, stuff like that. Yes, your dad was there. He may have been the financial provider. More often than not, your mother was probably, if your dad wasn't, the emotional provider that made sure everybody was good. Mom takes and I think that gets lost in translation. It's like, yes, you if I've dated guys, like even the one guy I was engaged to, we dated, I moved into his house. Yes, his house was whatever it was before I got there, right? Mm-hmm. But I added whatever I can add to it. Like I did what I needed to. And like the one girl said, I don't want to leave with that. I cook, I clean and stuff. I do that. Like that's this period, right? But outside of that, I maintained certain things. Like when we needed certain things, we did certain things. It was not 50-50. It was he paid the majority of rent. I think I paid $200 towards the rent. And then I covered like the groceries, but not necessarily saying all the time, because sometimes he bought groceries. Made sure the bills were paid. I know a lot of people that give, a lot of men or a lot of people that I know that they give their wife the money to pay the bills, like the cell phone bills, the thing they may pay the mortgage. Sometimes they get a woman the mortgage money. Sometimes you have men that sign over the check and give it to their wife because their wife make sure everything is provided. So that's what I feel like I feel like what's missing is they're not really seeing the woman for who she actually is.
Right.
That I want to be a leader, and this is what my goal is, not necessarily understanding what type of woman you have in front of you. Because and I think that's really missed upon what they call extreme independent women. Not necessarily extreme, but like, so for instance, me. I'm single. I have my own space. I pay my own bills and stuff like that. So meeting me is like, oh, well, some men look at me as like, what can I offer you? You have your own house. You maintain your bills. this, that, and third. I don't require you to pay my bills if you're dating me, right? I've never required that of any guy. Like, if you want to, cool, whatever. But like, but at the same time, I'm not solely dependent on you paying my bills. Not because, for one, I have to trust you enough to that. But on top of that, my trauma doesn't allow me to be solely dependent on somebody to take care of me, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And knowing me and my dating history, I'm going to let you know that. So I need you to understand that about me. I'm a work in progress, but like, honestly speaking, I don't think I can ever be 100% solely dependent on somebody. I'm always going to have backup because I'm ironed from what I was used to. This is not. It puts you in an unsafe place, right?
It's just a trauma response.
Yeah, it's a trauma response. But at the same time, so there's going to be times where you need to remind me, baby, I got this. Not necessarily remind me, but like, not that you have to say it verbally, but show me. Like, it's not something you can say to me, you just do. So that way I can build that trust up to know that I'm safely in your hands and that I don't have to have that trauma response, right? But at the same time.
But that comes with trust, and that comes with building a proper relationship and the intent of the relationship.
Of that, but then also understanding that I'm the type of person is I like to pay my bills. Not necessarily like my mortgage is always going to be paid on time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you got to be paid by the 15th. So when the 14th comes and we looking like we ain't paying no bill, I might be having my PTSD and anxiety drawn up because I've been homeless. I don't have time for that. I know it's only 1 month, but I will stress the fuck out of it. Versus me getting upset about a PSE&G bill or water bill, because those things we can work on. But for household purposes only, I can't be homeless. I've been there. So those things. But like understanding that that's something that I'm willing to do, but at the same time I work. So we work in conjunction of how we pay bills. So that's the question you have, like we said earlier on the stage, especially when you're thinking about getting serious with somebody. How are you financially? Financial ruins. Financial is a number one cause of divorce outside of infidelity. So a lot of us like to be secure. Now, if you're a person that's used to paying your bills on time and making sure stuff done, and now I'm laxy daisy, and now we having a problem, we're going to have problems. So we have to communicate this early on. So like I said, it's the thing of getting to know a person and not necessarily saying this is the law, follow it, and this is how I do things, this is how we're going to do it. It's no, we're coming as one. Let's, like I said, you have these conversations about it. Like, I think me and him had the conversation one time, and it was what's understood don't need to be said. And that's why I said, like, those 50-50 conversations, Jay, we can be cool off that, but I would feel uncomfortable with that 50-50. Because what if I fall short and something happens in life that I don't have 50-50? Like, what happens?
Exactly.
Are you not prepared to pick up the slack?
That's why the conversation is so dumb to me, because why are we discussing 50%, and sticking to like, oh, you got to be able to come up with your 50%. So you're just gonna let us sink because I can't come up with 50%. Like, that don't
now
make
one
sense
thing to
to
have
me.
to carry somebody that's just not financially responsible, but that's what you know.
Yeah.
Who you dealing with. Those are people that you deal with and always in financial problems. And you're like, yeah, we can't live together because I don't want none of them problems. You keep your place to be financially a problem.
Right.
I can't do that every month. Like,
and that's that part. Yeah, that's that part. You know.
Yeah. And like I think it's just right now we're in it's like that. And I hate this space that we're in. It's like men against women. And it's like I feel like with us women, we're not all, but some of us are having to prove who we are. And like instead of you seeing who is in front of you.
Oh yeah.
Like you date us, we show you who we are. For some of us, after a while, you can't even hide the facade. You're gonna eventually see who this person is after a certain amount of time. You can only hold that facade for so long, right? So eventually you're gonna see me, meat, potatoes, and all the good and ugly, good, bad, and the ugly and the different. So if you see me, how come you can't see me? Yeah. And I feel like, it's
because they're not looking. Because they're not looking.
Yeah, and
they're waiting on your 50%.
No, and I think it's kind of a reverse of us seeing potential and men seeing the idea.
Oh yeah.
Of who they want and not seeing who they pick in front of them. It's
I'm already potential.
Yeah, like I seen a snippet about You know how men say, "Oh, I want a woman that's like this. She's dressed, covered. She's never really showing off too much skin. She ain't out in the streets all the time." Or like you meet the guy that meet the girl in the strip club. She's stripping, and all of a sudden you don't want her to be a stripper no more.
Yeah.
Then you shouldn't date a stripper. Like that's who she was. Then you met her. Like you should go. It's people in here that we covered to the cloth. It's some nice Muslim women out here that be covered, and not even just Muslim women. Some really conservative women that be out here completely dressed. My little sister is one of them. She don't be outside dressed like she be covered. Very once in a while you see her grown and sit, but even then she's covered.
Now, they don't want that. They want to see what they're working with first, and then they be like, right,
and then it's like, oh, now I want you covered because I don't want anybody looking at you or something like that. And I just feel like it's just like, because for us women, we don't date men to say we want to change you or you can't dress a certain way. Like if we think you dress a little crazy, we might try to get you a nice shirt like that, whatever. Yeah. But we're not completely trying to change you for who you are. I feel like it's a lot. It's a lot with dating, and I feel like everybody's against each other, so it's hard out here.
Lord, thank you. I don't have to do that anymore.
I just got kicked back in the dating pool, and I know it's pee in there.
Right. All right, I want to jump on one more topic before we pull up out of here.
Okay.
So go ahead, Dane.
Wait. Yeah. So I was going to say that social media actually is not helping the situation and batting men and women against each other, because everybody has different views and different views on how they should proceed in their relationship. Not every relationship works for everybody. Willie's situation might not be the best for my situation, because our households are different, our upbringing is different, all four of us, my wife, his wife, him, me, because our perspective is different, our trauma is different, our likes and dislikes are different, everybody's likes are different. So like my wife, whatever works for us, what we do, if it's working for us, keep it working for us. Now, if somebody asks me specifically, like, hey, how do you make this work? I see how, it seems like you got this settled. It's not through lack of failure, because you're going to fail. You are going to fail at when you first come together at certain things. Certain things you just not going. Of course, you're Cass Tech of '94. So,
hey, yo,
what? That was a good high school, top in the nation. So some things you're going to fail on because not everything can be talked out. Not every situation is going to be brought up to your attention unless you ask. You don't know until you don't. You don't know unless you don't know until you find out. Like whatever problem might arise.
That's one of my new favorite saying. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. You don't know until you know what you don't know. Somebody asked me that. I'm like, there's any questions you have? Or like, I don't know, because I don't know all the situation or the variables that's going to come across me. So, so there's a lot of stuff like that happens, and you can't have a modern relationship, modern ideals, and try to flip yesterday's morals into today's reality. You know what I'm saying? You can't have yesterday's relationship and dating trend and to try to input it into today's ideals. Yes, some women on social media want that whole, I want a traditional relationship where I don't have to go to work. He has to make 6 figures. He has to yada, 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 yada. What are you going to do? Nothing. It doesn't work that way all the time. You can't have, and have my, they're going to keep repeating myself. So, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean but that's a good point, because I think that's the thing is that, people dating outside of their, how did Joy used to say this all the time? Basically like
dating outside their means.
Well, not even just dating outside your means, but like date in the space where you're supposed to be at. Basically, like a lot of guys want to be with Instagram models, and they want to be, with these whatever they are, like Sonny was saying, trying to be with a girl at a strip club, but then want to cover her up later. Like, no, date where you want to be at. Date in the space where you want to be. If you want this type of wife, or you want this type of person, look for that. Don't try to get with somebody and then try to turn them into that. Don't try to get with somebody that you already know is, I guess I'm basically not trying to say, don't, it's not about dating out of your league or anything like that. It's just basically like you're trying to date somebody.
Date what you want.
Yeah, date what you want. Don't try to date what you what you think you want and then try to turn them to what you want. It's not right. And then and honestly, it goes for women. You can't be mad that men aren't fitting this requirement when you're not even in the right space to date that kind of person, or you're not what they're looking for. I wasn't a huge Kevin Samuel fan or anything, but he used to be kind of right about that part. Like how are you going to get this high value man and you don't even have high value attributes? You don't have a high value mindset. You don't have you don't even bring to the table what a high value man needs in terms of support, ideas, whatever the case may be. You can't be saying, I need you to come home every night and do this, that, and the third, and that man needs to be a CEO. Like that, it don't line up. It's not the same. Or I want to be out, traveling the 7 seas and doing all the international vacations and being an influencer, and then that man working at as a shoe salesman. Like it don't line up.
The math ain't math.
Or you just want to be sitting around smoking weed all day long, and this man supposed to be at work doing working the assembly line. It don't line up. So I think that there's a lot of people who, that goes back again to what I was saying about intent. What's your intent? Where are you trying to get to? You can't say that you want XYZ and you going after ABC. You just can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you almost there, get all the way there. Go all the way to that direction. Look for what you're looking for. Your requirement list don't need to be a mile long, because that's also going to make you less likely to find what you're looking for. Yes, it's good to get some be hard on certain things and say these are
things that matter to you. Be things the deal breakers.
The deal breakers that you want to have deal breakers. That's fine, but you can't be like, yeah, but he's got to be at least 6'3" and 4/14 of an inch, and he's got to wear a size 14 shoe, and he's got to make $373,000, and he's got to do this and he's got to do that, and it's like, but what about old boy that's 6'1" that makes $200,000, but he works, he works 80 hours a week to get that, $200,000. So you can't be going on vacations every 3 weeks. It's like you got so many things, so many nuances, and then like Dane was saying, we got so much going on with this economy. There's no magic formula for what your salary is versus what you're going to be able to do, because you can have already existing bills, you can have student loans, you can have a high mortgage, you can have whatever the case may be. It might require both of you to work, or it might require some people to be putting in a little bit more than they want to have to put in. And that's just life, But then there's also people who's like, hey, I want a career person in my life because this person has a certain mindset. I know a lot of, people that own businesses that feel like they need a entrepreneur couple, or a partner rather, in their life, because they want that person to understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur. It's hard to be, in a certain lifestyle, and then you try to be with somebody who doesn't understand that, who doesn't get ins and outs of it and the nuances of that.
And the unrealistic expectations of the relationship. Like, some people want to skip to the good parts. They don't know, like my ex had a problem with going through the struggle. Like, when you first come together as a family unit, when you first things settled down, she just wanted everything to be just like her parents, right? Then and there. Like, I'm supposed to be just like her dad and having all the answers, this and this and this and this, where she didn't see the struggle they had to go through for her parents to get to know each other and get to the point where it's automatic. Like, she knows what I'm thinking. They know what they're thinking for each other. Like, well, it's my responsibility.
You got to put the work in.
Yeah, that she just wanted the instant gratification of marriage. And that whole, I'm not bashing or trying to trample on women, but some women just love that old movie, The Color Purple. I was married now. They don't realize they want the wedding and they want the happily ever after, which is no such thing. There's work work everly after, because you always keep working. It always working.
I got happily ever after.
I think same can be said of dudes. They think that you get married, that life is supposed to be this thing, and it's not. It's work.
Right.
I think any relationship is work, whether it's a marriage, or any like dating relationship to marriage. It's work. It's not going to be easy. You have to go through. Not necessarily you have to go through bullshit, but like not bullshit and drama, but like go through the work,
difficulties.
Relationship work.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. You still have to date when you say this is my woman, this is my lady, or whatever the case may be. You still have to work on that relationship.
Sometimes you got to ask.
Get married, when you get married, you still have to date that person. Whether kids come, life comes, or everything, you still. And I think that's the thing. Like even with, like, it's the thing to get the person right. Let's woo them. Like, I got this. We're gonna do this, and you get that person right by the stuff. And that's the same thing we say to us ladies. We get these men and we do all these things, and then all of a sudden we married and we over here chilling. You have to like, and I've been a person that done that. I've done things, relationships that I didn't think that I would do, let alone like accept, right? But I think like, and I was one of the people, like I originally in relationships, when I was in relationships early on in my relationships, I used one little thing, I was done. I wasn't working shit out. I really wasn't. I was like, oh, you did this, I don't like it. I told you, you still doing it, done. I like that about me, right? It makes sense, but at the same time, I sat with somebody and they were like, so you just leave and you don't try to fix the problem? And I'm like, no. Like they did it. I didn't like it. I was out. Like I said, I don't like this. We didn't get to the root of why this was happening. And I just was like, all right, I'm out. I ain't give a fuck. I think part of me needed that in between of very standing on business, but also willing to work, right? But then I think sometimes we get to the point where we willing to work when it's not working.
Yeah.
And a little too long, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to find the balance that works for you. So relationships aren't easy. You're going to have problems. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have disagreements. It's how you work through those disagreements. Accountability, like, is a big thing.
You know what? You know what I'm about to say? Dating is easy for certain people. Like, my wife is obsessed with this show called Dating on the Spectrum. If they don't like something, they will let you know right off. Like for us normal people, we'll put up with the BS for months and months on end trying to date this person. Like, yeah, we're gonna make it work. I can make it work. They don't like something. Yeah, I don't like the way you spoke about that. So I want to end this date here and there. Have a good life, and they're out.
I said I need a little mean son to come back, and then like they like to me that
it's about finding the balance, because you shouldn't dating and relationships shouldn't be astronomically hard. Me and my wife talk about that all the time, that people put up with so much BS thinking that there's supposed to be hard times and bad times and challenges, and it's like, there's going to come a time you're going to run into a hard time. There's going to come a time there's going to be a challenge. You might have several challenges, but it shouldn't be a constant battle to stay in a relationship. It should not. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much you think that fairy tale lifestyle of like, oh, we gotta fight before we can love. And it's like, no, that's not necessary. If that's what you want, I guess, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
But don't let outside influence into your relationship. Like, don't get mad at your wife or spouse or your spouse, whoever you loving. Don't let that interfere with what y'all got going on just because it's not working. Most people will let outside influence, like, oh man, the bills are due, or this got cut off. I lost my job. She lost her job. Somebody got the car smashed or totaled. Hey, it's that time of life we in right now. No, losing those tariffs. But
Hey,
stuff. I'm just saying. And I'm just saying, don't let that interfere with your relationship. Most people let stuff like that interfere with what's going on
minor.
between y'all two. That's
Well, I mean, even an
totally
easier
separate.
thing. No, an easier thing is just even people's opinions. Like friends or family, their opinions influence, and that's an even
I
easier
like
one to talk about
Yeah.
because I think the
quotes.
the job situation is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you just kind of got to figure that out, work that out. And anybody that's in love or that is in a true marriage or true relationship, they're gonna try to figure that out before they let that, like you said, fully affect their relationship. But I think that when it comes down to like people in a situation where they're like, oh, you know, you said this and you did that, and then now my friend Jane, she's saying you're not a good man, and it's like, what? Like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, why is
Like,
Jane even in our
like,
business? Why is
Yeah.
like,
Jane
not
even talking
everything.
about our relationship?
Yeah.
Like, that's none of their business. Like, our
Mhm.
relationship is our relationship, not theirs.
I think
You,
even if you and like I'm a big person of even if Jane was my best friend and I'm talking to her about our relationship, right? And she gives her opinion is not the gospel. It's her
Right.
opinion.
facts.
And I think that's the caveat of it. You
Yeah.
can give me an opinion all you want. At the end of the day, I'm gonna choose what I want. And like I'm a
Mhm.
big person of because I've been accused of, oh, you told listen so and so blah. Like when everybody's mad at me, oh, somebody told you to this and no. It's never for me. It will never be because what someone told me. It's always because of you. Like a weird relationship, it's not anyone. No one can tell me not to deal with you except for you. And it's not even that you're telling me, it's your actions, it's your words, it's how you treat me. And the list could go on. So regardless of, because I've been with people that I know people were like, I don't know why you still with this person, you should leave them alone, blah, blah, blah. They did this and great. I'm still here because I want to be here. It's not because they're making me be here. It's because I still want to be here. I still see something salvageable about whatever the situation is. But I do value your opinion, right? So I'm going to talk to you, and that's why we talked about on a couple of shows back about knowing who you're talking to, right? So if I'm talking to you, I know that if I talk to Joe Schmo, that I know they hate men. All men ain't shit. You can give me your opinion, but your opinion is not gospel. Even if I'm talking to somebody that's married for however many plus years, that's a good friend of mine, you can give me your opinion. It does not mean that your opinion is gospel. The thing that matters to me is I can hear all your opinions. I still have my own thoughts. So while I'm processing my thoughts and not only some of my thoughts, my feelings, I can listen to what you said and think about it and take a step out of it when I'm by myself and really sit with what I'm dealing with, and then come back to the person I'm with and be like, listen, this is like where we keep having this XYZ problem, like, and I'm going to try to get through to you to try to fix it because we're together. I'm going to try to get through to you to fix it. The only way that this does not work between me and you is because of you or me. It's not going to be because of outside influence, and I think that's the problem. Like, it understandably from most men's perspective, your friend ain't shit. She telling you to leave me. That's a simple way to say it, right? But not necessarily. It doesn't. That's not the case for all women. Some
Well, I
women.
mean, but that's the thing. Sometimes you could just want that outside, not outside influence, but you go just want that other opinion just to make sure you're not tripping. You know what I'm saying? So
That's how I am.
It's not that I'm listening to them. It's because they picked up the same BS that I picked up. So it's not my fault that everybody can see you for who you are.
Yeah, because then
I
you
just
get
happen
the, then you got the, oh, he disagreeing with you because blah blah blah. No, it's a fact. Like this is and that be my argument with people. Not just in relationships. It's like outside relationships. Outside of romantic relationships. It's like I have friendships where a friend will do some nonsense or be on some mess, and like I said, but my friends know I'm not. I'm very much, I keep stuff to myself, and then when we're having a discussion because I love you, I'm gonna hit you with some truth, but I'm not doing it in a malicious way. I'm gonna say, you know what, girl, you're on some bullshit. Like, I hear you, whatever, blah blah blah, second and third. And I'm gonna tell you, I know you don't want to hear it, and I can tell them like myself included. Sometimes I don't want to hear it in that moment. I know it's a fact. I don't want to hear it, but I heard you, so I'm gonna sit with it later. But like that's the thing, you bounce. I'm a more of a validate. Like, girl, he said that nothing. Like, girl, what? And my reaction was like, how would you react? Did I take that? Because I'm a person like I may take something a little personal because and we get into that mode where me and you may be beefing, Willie. So everything you say, I feel like it's an attack on me. So now I'm like, Dame, when Willie said blah blah blah, like I felt the way, and Willie like, and Dame like, no, Willie blah blah blah.
He told me the same thing.
I've said it to friends. Maybe you taking it. Maybe you're sensitive because you feel a way about this person because of y'all situation, right? Y'all not seeing eye to eye right now. So now everything they do is you take it as a slight, and it may not necessarily be a slight, but because you're tapped into your emotions just a little bit much about this person because of your situation, you're taking everything as a slight, and it may not even may have meant that way, and that's why like it's taking yourself outside yourself, what a lot of people don't do. You don't hold yourself accountable. And like I have never been, knock on wood, the person that said, well, I was arguing with anyone. Well, you listening to other people. No. I that's not my thought because I'm also understanding that you're capable to have your own opinions and thoughts and stuff. And I don't dismiss it by someone else told you to think that way. No, you made it to how at your big age, you should be able to think for yourself. And if you aren't thinking for yourself, I don't know what to tell you, but like at my big age, I can think for myself. So yes, I can talk to other people, but at the end of the day, my opinion and my feelings are gospel. So that
was gospel to you because it's your life. It is gospel to you.
And it doesn't mean it's true because just because I feel that way doesn't make it a fact.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't sit with that. Yeah, I'm hurt. Willie hurt me. But it doesn't mean that he intentionally hurted me. But and I can't say you hurt me, you did this and you did that. I can feel that way, but it doesn't make it a fact. He could have said something that he didn't even think that I would be hurt by or didn't even look at it in the term in which I looked at it, and now I'm all hurt and feeling like he intentionally hurt me. But just because I feel that way doesn't make it a fact. It's just my opinion and my feelings.
Right.
I'm valid for having my opinion. I'm valid for having my feelings.
Everybody's got to understand that people's feelings are valid, because it's their feelings. Let them feel what they're feeling.
It's their perspective.
It's not a fact.
Yeah. But good conversation, good topic. Definitely some great points have been made. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you guys continue to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we're back on here talking about more engaging conversation. There's some of these topics are definitely available on the GFT Join the Conversation group over on Facebook. Make sure you guys go join that. And in the meantime, Sunny, tell the folks where they can find you.
Hey guys, you can find me at IamSunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. Visit me at my blog, reservedlyme.com, and see me on the BS3 Network, Podcast Link Philly. First live shows there. The next couple live shows should be there, and I believe they're already planning show number 4.
Bet it up.
It's your boy. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's yours. You can find me up Another Level Up on Instagram and Shillo21 on Xbox Network and on Twitch.
Bet it up. And it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter. Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. Visit me over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to, including some new Yo Gotti and some new what's his name? I just liked it too. What is his name? The one that did anyway, Moneybag Yo. It's a new Moneybag Yo. So make sure you guys check that out. Check that out over at stylesradio.com. Hit me up on williestyles.info for all my links. Look out for some new links on there soon. I got some different things going on, so make sure you guys check that out. Go ahead,
I forgot Shillo21 on what's that thing called? Facebook. Yes. I forgot you can follow me there too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I just work here.
As always,
This is my first day.
Website for all our socials, for all our replays, and including the links to all of our replays in our site. Make sure you check out our free on-demand audio and videos on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, and replays on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So make sure you guys check that out. All the updated shows are over there. They get automatically published once we finish our live show. So make sure you guys check out the replays. You have not missed it. You will always find us. But yeah, that's a wrap. And, we'll be back here as always, Mondays, 10 p.m. Until next time, we are.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Respected, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFTradioshow.com for all of our audio and video playbacks, as well as links to all of our social media sites.